Okay, so let's get started. So, I have been receiving some spiritual gifts. I don't understand. I feel as if, well, never mind. I ain't gonna even say anything. But I'm receiving these gifts, and this shit is crazy because I'm just like, what am I gonna do? With this? For all of this? Okay. So, we're gonna get into my photos there. This one here. I'm gonna do. So I went to the beach and I did some art therapy. One thing that I know, let me see if I can. One thing that I know is whenever I do my art therapy at the beach, when I play around with the shells and the sand and shit, it's the extraterrestrials viewpoint. So I took a picture of what I created. Okay, so now I'm just gonna go in. Oh God, I have no idea. But here, this is giving me a river. This is a river. This is land. All of this is land. I see trees here. Forest, trees. So when I was studying the image and I was connecting, so this is actually an Amish town or village or whatever. And the extraterrestrials are watching somebody. They're watching them very closely. So I'm trying to see, like, I have no idea what this could be. To me, right away, it's giving me like a shed with a whole bunch of cars. Okay, but if this is Amish, bitch, I don't fucking know. Because this could be like cows. This could be where they have the cows. The horses or some shit. Of course, this is going to be the home. And there is an add-on to the home. This is the person that they're watching. Okay, so this could be some type of a fence or maybe a solar panel. These three pieces look like gates though. Okay, so this could be the garden. What about this? I have no idea what that shit could be or what this could be. You know what? This is underground. This one right here is underground. Okay. So it could be like a cellar, like a wine cellar or some shit. I don't know. Oh, shit. I pick up that this is a graveyard. I pick up that as a graveyard. So what is this? Oh, shit. I have no idea what, like, I have no idea what this could be. Uh-oh. I'm starting to get nervous. There are things going on here that should not be going on here. Um, so, I mean, I don't know much about the Amish community, and I know it's based off of religion, their religion. And I don't, for one, I don't want to be rude or too forward with Amish because I don't know. I grew up in Christianity, so I'm going to say what the fuck I got to say. But uh, when it comes to the Amish, I mean, I don't know shit about Amish, and I don't want to purposely be offensive or be a bitch about certain things. I mean, I know that they do things different, and I know that they live their life differently, but I'm just going to give you my honest opinion, and it may come off as a bias, but stop fucking with me, because if you know, you know. You know, Amish is this group, I don't know what to call them. It's ran by men, very strict men, very traditional thinking men. Um, I have done a little research, of course, because, I thought about maybe converting to being Amish, but I wanted to have an experience, but they wouldn't let me experience, they didn't, I don't know. So, I just do my research like over the internet and just listen to individuals that are Amish and their experiences. Then I study the energy. The energy sometimes is so scary, and I'm just like, why do it seem so scary? Like the way that they show their way of life. I mean, it's minimalized, right? And they do things, they don't live based off of convenience or modern day advances or benefits, we'll say. And that's what I like. I like their way. I like how they're creative. When you're working, thank you, when you're working with less, you got to be creative. And I love watching the creativity. Okay. But, I notice something very sinister, and like I said, it's like they try to pitch it like we're happy with our way of life and this and that. But I'm gonna tell you, because if you study, and I don't mean to compare, but this is some real shit. Listen to what I'm saying. When you study very poverty parts of Africa and you see those motherfuckers are happy, you look at them. I love studying Makoko. Okay, Makoko, Lagos, Nigeria, I think it is. Or I don't know if it's Guam. Don't quote me, Makoko. Okay, so that's like a water city. Okay, so it's a whole bunch of houses and stuff that got water. It's on top of water. Like you see the children, it's trash. I know that shit stink. They don't have no sewage, so they shitting in the water. They using the bathroom in the water and all that type of stuff. But the thing is that even with the grossness, you know, they're not breaking out. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not having like real physical issues with being in that water because they love that. You see the children playing in the water, you see the people riding in the boats and all that type of stuff. Um, and there's a lot of pollution and all that stuff in that water. Man, them motherfuckers is happy. They happy. They may not be the healthiest, but when on the outside, the water is not affecting them. As gross as that water is, it's not affecting them. So that's why I'm saying, I'm just like, bro, this is something is going on. Because like I say, you see people in low poverty that have less, living amongst trash. Them motherfuckers is happy. So when it comes to the Amish community, I'm just like, bro, I don't know. I don't want, you know what I'm saying? But fuck that, because I'm gonna say the shit is sinister. It's something very sinister there. When men are in control, and then those men, they have their families excluded from the rest of the world. There's no telling what the hell can be going on up in there. You understand what I'm saying? This shit is bothering the fuck out of me. There's people in here. There's people in here. I believe that these two right here, these two spots, these are going to represent two people with guns, and this is going to represent a crowd of people, a group, we'll say. I very dark things happen in this place here. Okay, and that's what I'm saying. Like, they could be beating on their wives, and motherfuckers really not gonna know. You know what I mean? Like, they're excluded from the world and a lot of the rules from the world. Well, they're not excluded from the rules, but they choose not to, engage. Like, they stay within the structure of expectation, but they're not playing by the world's game, you know. Like, because if you know anything about the Amish, they be creating their own stuff, electricity, water, they do everything themselves, you know. So, I mean, that's some free shit. It's just like anything can happen. You can do anything. And of course, I did some research on Black Amish. So there's no such thing as Black Amish. You may catch one black person, you know, it's very few, but you may catch one black person. But then it's kind of, I heard a woman was talking, she's just like, well, none of the Amish men really want her or look at her. It's hard for her to fit in. The only time individuals really gather together and have a good time, or where she felt accepted, was at church, was when they had their church. But look, the extraterrestrials are watching this motherfucker. Because there's some things going on here. Mm. My. So I just keep trying to, I feel like, these may be, why is my pen not working? What is oh, don't film me now. Whatever. It's not letting me. Okay, so they don't want me to do anything else to it. This is crazy. This has never happened. It's not working. Why is my pen not working? They just want me to look. Because I feel like they don't want me to say no more. Because, like, I see some mountains, but I don't want to confuse nobody. But think about what I said. You know what I'm saying? You living on the outskirts of life, motherfuckers do not bother you. You know, you're not paying any bills, so you're not connected to any outside resources. You know, you are the absolute master of your life, of your world. You know, police don't come fuck with you. You know, you have this image of we are a peaceful people and we are an honest people and you know, religious, and we're not messing with you, don't mess with us. You know, Amish get a lot of respect. So, you know, that's the reputation. So if you can polish the reputation and you can hide what the fuck is going on, I mean, just think about it. There's an extraterrestrial up in here, and they know it. They coming. Somebody, I ain't even gonna say because I don't. Well, if they get busted, it ain't gonna be. You know, everybody may not know. The extraterrestrials have a different way as to how they deal with things. And at first, when I was looking at it, I was just like, it looks like a little village. I don't think that's a village. These motherfuckers is away. They are away. They live by a river and forest. It's some shit going on here. There's some shit. There's some type of it's very sinister. Cause I see a chair here too. Like the big man, the big boss sit on the chair and wicked shit just happened and nobody can do anything about it, and you got these two people on the side with guns. I think that this is like a secret place, a secret lair, and there's a secret entrance. I heard somebody say it's happening right under her nose. So this could be a woman and this could be her husband. I think he has a bit of a sick, twisted, sinister side to himself that she doesn't know about. He can't get away with doing his business away from home because they live too far away from anybody else. So, you know, I think that he has created some type of route and sacred entry to this place here. I hear a truck. You know what I'm saying? Um, I hear a truck. Maybe like a truck of people. And they bring them here. And, you know, this man, he just, I mean, whatever. I'm not gonna lie. I just see like a lot of people having sex on the floor. Like, it's dark. And there's a man sitting in a chair. And there's a spotlight in the middle of this room. You know, and these people are like forced to have sex with everybody, with each other. It's like a big group of people and they just have sex with each other. You know, I don't think that this is what they want to be doing, because why are there two men here with guns? Right? Thank you. So this motherfucker got ties to traffic to he got ties to trafficking. And it's like he considers himself to be noble and righteous because he's not engaging. He just wants to see it. You know what I'm saying? He just wants to sit and look and enjoy. He doesn't want to be a part of it. He doesn't want to touch it. There's a part of him to where he thinks that he's too good to get involved, to touch anybody. Bless you. I can hear, it's kind of like when he looks at the things that are taking place and going on, it's like this low growl, you know, like it comes off like disgust, but at the same time, it comes off like he loves it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say it's like sinister. It's kind of dark. It's very dark, actually. You know, he should not be doing that to himself because he is conflicted. And the way in which that he's choosing to do things, you know, it's messing with him psychologically. You need to make a decision, you know, maybe stop suppressing, you know. I think, you know, I mean, he seems very righteous, but, you know, like whatever their religion is, you know, obviously what he's seeing and demanding is against the belief, you know. um it's like a sexual demon. You know how people say STIs, STDs, you know, this is like sexually transmitted demon, you know. Like, why is it a demon? Because you're not fucking embracing, nigga, you a fucking hornball and you like sex and you have fantasies. You probably want an orgy, but your belief system makes you look down on certain stuff that you desire. I, you know, typical average ways of the white man. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? And you know all of this shit root from slavery. Because, you know, them white men, they were curious about the black women. You know, black women have a sweet smell to our vaginas. And men can smell that shit. You know. I'm not saying, you know, white women have their scent too, but I don't know. You know, Latina women, you know, it's instinctive, and you know, like a cat knows the smell of a cat, you know. So feline, right? We're all human beings, right? So when it comes to the species of the feline, you know, you got the cat, you got tiger, you got lion, you got panther, you got cougar. They all spray, right? But their scents are not the same. You see what I'm saying? So that's kind of like for women. And of course, I'm not, you know, nobody's scent is better than the other. You know, it just depends on who want the scent, who like the scent. But I know for black women, we have like a sweeter scent to us. And I know you probably done smelled some terrible smells, but man, cut the shit. Because if you're a man and you get down, you know, you get down with many cultures, you know what the fuck I'm talking about if you're paying attention. But you know, for the most part, you know the difference between white pussy, black pussy, Hispanic pussy, Asian pussy. You know what I'm saying? Pussy is pussy. It's all the same. And I do feel like, you know, pussy has a distinctive smell. You know, to where it doesn't matter who it is or what ethnicity it is, but then when you break it down, each ethnicity has a certain smell. But anyway, so the white men, that's why they was raping the black women, right? Because it's they're curious about the black women, but it's like, look at how you stole these people, you enslaved, you bondage these people, you abuse these people. You know what I'm saying? But you have a curiosity for them because no matter what you do to them, most of the time they show you nothing but submission. So, this is something that made the white men very curious about the black women, because to them it represents strength. You know, being able to take abuse is a form of strength. That's what I'm saying, man. Sometimes the white boys be kind of crazy. I'm trying to tell you. So, but I mean, this is psychological. Just like when it comes to black people, we have our issues. You know what I'm saying? We have our shit with us too. Everybody does. But since we're talking about a white man, I'm just going to open up and keep it real, because, you know, it definitely roots, and with him being Amish, I believe his family has been Amish for years, since the 1800s. I don't know how long Amish has been around. You see, I haven't done the research because I'm just going off of a whim. I've done some research, but now there are questions now that I'm asking, to where it's making me like, okay, now I need to know what to figure out. But because I don't know if it's from the 1700s, 1800s, I don't know how far root back, and I'm just like, did the Amish have slaves? Did they believe in slavery? Because rather they did or rather they didn't, this man has an infatuation with the idea, And I'm gonna keep it real with you. I used to mess with this white guy, and he was racist. He was racist. But shit, most black people I know are racist too. So I was just like, man, fuck it. Everybody fucked up out here. So whatever. But he had a fetish for black women, you know. And he was so tight. He was like so tight sexually. And I was just like, oh my God, how am I going to loosen him up? So, I had suggested that we do a little role play, right? So we could play master and slave girl or whatever, right? And look, I know that shit sound fucked up, but I know other white and black couples that do this shit. But this is a creative way as to how to unleash the suppression of racism. You know, it's about being healthy with what you do, right? This man was conflicted. So I'm just like, well, maybe I can just ease him into his true self, right? Because if you have a fetish, there's something there about dominance. Black women are powerful. Our skin is dark, it's rich, it's deep. I'm trying to tell you, a lot of these white dudes, they see the true essence. They see it in black women. But it's hard because, so let's say they see the love of a black woman, they see the strength, and they see that based off of how we deal with our men. So they sit there and it's just like, she needs a man like me. But at the same time, people like the division, black and black, white and white, Asian and Asian. And then, um, white people really don't feel respected by black people, you know. And a lot of the times, you have your exceptions, right? Because you have cultures that grow up in the black culture. You have other ethnicities that grow up in the black culture. It's kind of like, well, if you grew up with us, we consider you one of us, but you can't say the N word, nigga. You know what I'm saying? But some people, they don't care. So you hear what white people saying, nigga, because it's not coming from a derogatory place or a hurtful place. That motherfucker just grew up with hearing that shit all the time, and he was accepted. It was okay, But for most people, even if you grew up with black people, it's kind of like, nah, you can't say that word. Whatever, whatever, whatever. I mean, that's what they say, but so we had our little experimentation. And when we had our experimentation, and this was not a physical connection, this was spiritual. So I was diving deep in this brother, I was, navigating. So, we did a little theatrical, a little role play or whatever, you know. And he wasn't mean, he wasn't aggressive. You know what I'm saying? It was almost like an embrace. So it wasn't like bondage and whipping me or no bullshit. It wasn't anything like that. You know what I'm saying? That shit crazy. It was nothing like that. So you know what I'm saying? It was just more so of visualizing me, being afraid of him, being afraid of him. Okay? So I'm going to tell you something about the human brain. And I'm going to tell you something about human behavior. We know the worst of the worst, right? That anybody can be, because we've already seen it. We know the best of the best from human behavior because we've already seen it. Better believe that in the depths of who you are a fucking monster. And if you don't embrace that motherfucker, eventually he's going to catch up with you. So, when I go in and do shadow work with people who are dealing with some real serious psychotic psycho shit, I help them to face that and not be ashamed of it. We all have secrets. We all have things that are fucked up about us. But instead of inflicting it on people in real life, you can go within that space within you and roam that darkness because it feels great. Right? So the dominance, like him wanting me to fear him, that was his guilty pleasure. Okay? Truth is, he know I ain't scared of his ass. But I can perform fear to fulfill a need. It's like a beast. And he's been ignoring this beast because he's ashamed. Right? But I got a bit of a twisted side myself. So it's just like, oh no. No, don't you do that to that beast. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I need. That's what I'm craving. And you're only going to let it out if you trust me. And you can trust me because, trust me, you need this experience before it consumes you and your ass go out here and do the shit. And God forbid if drugs get involved. Because when the drugs get involved, it's like lights out. That beast is coming out. So, you know, I mean, what it sound crazy, but this is true spirituality. When you see these, and when you see like these really scary movies, and it's based off of like demons and like alien looking figures, that shit is symbolic. You see they create these places to where it's dark. There's absolutely nothing but dirt. It's been total destruction. All of that shit is symbolic. It's all a reflection, projection, and deflection of the destruction of a human being. You know, not a lot of people understand that. So, but I do. And I play very well with my dark side. I am in love with myself wholeheartedly to the very depths of the umbria. That is complete darkness. You know how your eyes get adjusted to the darkness after a while? Within the space of the umbria, it never does. And it's infinite. So, you know, I'm trying to tell you, like, I dive deep into myself so I can dive deep into other people. I keep it real with myself. So, when it comes to other individuals, when I see certain things within them, it's just like, I'm not bothered. I'm not scared. But if you're not willing to let me help you with that shit, then you got to stay away from me, because you gonna get out. I know I'm gonna trigger that shit in you and pull it out. If you ain't ready, you need to think twice. This is what I'm saying. This is why I study psychology. The brain, that shit crazy. But yeah, there's something going on here. They still not letting me draw on this. Let me see if I switch it up. They still not letting me do it. Yeah, there's something going on in there. I feel like nobody else knows about this place. And it's not, they probably walk over top of it every day. They probably walk by it every day. You know. All right, well, there we go. So we just gonna wrap it up there. Till next time. Talk again.